Good evening, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Strand. I'm representing the College of Social Work this evening. Veterinary social work is a partnership between two professions, veterinary medicine and social work, and it's designed to enhance, inform, and support both professions. We practice in 4 areas. The first is the link between human and animal violence. The second is grief and bereavement. The third is animal-assisted interactions. And the fourth is compassion fatigue management. Veterinary social workers are interested in the power of the human-animal connection. The unconditional love that very often is there in that connection is something that veterinary social workers want to access as a way of enhancing and improving human life. We hope that the byproduct is also that animals benefit from that, but our main interest is raising and taking care of people. That is the positive side of the human-animal connection, but there's a negative side of the human-animal connection as well. Sometimes animals become victims of violence. Sometimes animals are used by human beings to be violent towards other human beings. Then sometimes we're working too hard and our cat just comes up and gets on our lap and insists that we're actually present. We have to pay attention to that animal no matter if we want to or not. And in that moment, oxytocin, the love hormone, is running through the cat and also running through the person. This is the beneficial side of how animals bring us into the present moment. Wildlife also brings us into the present moment as we're going about our day. Every now and then we might stop and notice something. Some reason being in the present moment for human beings is associated with significant mental and physical well-being. So in many ways, the power of the human-animal connection lies in our capacity to be present with animals. Of course, we also have the fun and the joy of animals as well. About 75% of households that have school-age children also have companion animals, and they become a source of great joy for the family. This boy is, who knows what he's doing with the iguana. This is one of my heroes. Her name is Jane Addams. She founded the settlement movement in the United States, first female American to get the Nobel Peace Prize, and she felt like if you put into communities the resources that people needed, then people would inherently improve and meet their human potential and capacity. Social workers also advocate for social justice. They also focus on cultural diversity and are not afraid to picket if they think there's something that needs to be done for a human being. This animal says, reduce my mom's caseload so she can take care of me. So the dog is assisting the social worker here. Animals assist us in many ways. You're familiar with working dogs that help folks that are blind or have other disabilities. We now know that dogs are trained to help people that are coming back from war with post-traumatic stress disorder, and even dogs that help to help folks that are going through an epileptic seizure. This relationship between the handler and the animal, the trainer and the animal, is very, very deep. Of course, these animals are not here to assist us in some other way besides entertainment, and you may have your own opinions about the rightness or wrongness of that, but what you cannot deny is the connectedness that is occurring between that human being and that animal. The connectedness also happens in wartime. I know that if I was this soldier and I was having to look into this bunker, I would feel safer having this dog present with me. This is a soldier in the Vietnam War. When this bond is broken, it can be very devastating for the human being. And this can often feel more like a more deep grief than even people experience when they lose their people. I think there's something about the purity of the love, the simplicity of the relationship that makes the loss of that companion animal very difficult. However, that loss is not only companion animals, and it's not only when things are going well, a positive relationship. Sometimes there's a farmer and the herd has to be culled because of disease. Or this woman is letting go of 30 cats because she was in an animal hoarding situation. She has terrible grief because of that loss, but also she can be convicted of animal cruelty. As a social worker, I have to think also about the system's perspective. There are people that are taking those animals out of those situations that are shelter veterinarians and shelter workers who experience deep compassion fatigue. This animal is lucky. His friends were being tossed over a bridge in Central America to deal with overpopulation. How animals die is very important to people. You may even, as you look at this image, have a reaction in your own body. However, as a veterinary social worker, it's important that we recognize the cultural fabric within which animal and human relationships occur. And this happens to be a religious ceremony. And this is a celebrated activity in this culture. As a social worker, I have to respect that. I have to step outside of the right and wrong. These children have raised this animal to take to that ceremony. They're happy. They feel good about what they are doing. Who am I to say that this is wrong? That's the role of the veterinary social worker. So as we do our work as vet social workers, we really do, and everybody's going to have different feeling about this image, we really do step away from our own opinions about the rightness and wrongness of how animals are treated, and rather focus on how human beings are doing in those interactions, and what do we need to do to create understanding between the human beings who may have very different perspectives about how something should be going. This man is picketing or protesting because of animal rights. A social worker is not afraid to protest, but in this situation, they would not be protesting because we would look to our veterinary fellows and our veterinary partners to find out what's right in terms of animal keeping. We would focus on creating that space for human beings to treat each other right. The Dalai Lama has taught us and has encouraged research about the importance of compassion and the way to get there of being in the present moment. And we know from research after research after research that when we practice mindfulness, that we grow in our capacity for compassion and understanding for other human beings. My dog is silent and still when I look at him. This cow, sacred cow of India, is silent and still when I look at him. There's power in that, in my book. And that is what we access as veterinary social workers, to try to raise the capacity for human beings to connect with each other through that power that animals bring to us, that they help us with. So, thank you.